Hey everybody, and welcome back to another reaction. This is like our third take, so we got through our Halloweeny movies.
Yeah,
It's kinda
sad times. Sad
yes,
times.
I had such a good time with all those movies.
Mm-hmm.
They were all so good. The only one that'll be coming out, maybe I don't know, next week is Gremlins. We had them out at the beginning of the month. Quite a few of you had viewed it, but then after a while they decided to copyright after the fact. It's goofy, but that one will be coming out a little delayed. But other than that, we're just rolling into November, and this month we're kind of catching up with all of our Patreon winter movies. But actually, we had asked our patrons their birthdays, just as a special thank you to them, because a lot of them have supported us for quite some time. What month, and they could give us a day or whatever of their birthday, and then they got to choose the movie that we watch. And just like moi, who has a birthday this month, our patron Craig also has a birthday coming up in a few days, and he chose.
Guess who's coming to dinner from 1967?
And I like that it's an older movie. But aside from the title, they're guessing who's coming to dinner. I don't know. I have no idea. I never even heard of this
I've
movie.
never seen this movie. Never heard this movie.
You said when you were pulling it up, you did see on the movie thing. Do you want to talk about that or no?
Like Sidney Poitier?
Oh, Portier.
Poitier and Katharine Hepburn.
I think he just passed away a few months
Sure,
ago.
yeah.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Other than that, I don't. I
Have
mean,
a
it's
clue.
about a dinner.
Something
Yeah.
about a dinner, and so they're trying to get. I don't know. So I'm excited to watch this one. Are you?
Yes.
Yeah. I like to watch movies that I've never heard of, or maybe I don't know. It's just fun because we jump all over the place with different variety of movies, as you guys have noticed. We don't pigeonhole ourselves, so Anyway, before we get started, we just once again want to give a huge shout out to our patrons. You guys are so awesome. You continue to support us, and you are just the coolest of cool, sitting at that cool table, starting that conga line. We do really love and appreciate y'all, so thank you very much. And, starting this month, we're doing two patron exclusive movies that our patrons get to vote on. So if you want to jump on that conga line, it's the third tier and above. We'll be the only ones being able to view those movies. We won't be putting them on YouTube. But if you also want to partake in the November poll for all of our tiers, we put the 3 Mel Brooks movies up for you guys to see. We've lowered the price to $2. So, hey, hit the link in the description. And once again, I'm wearing this ridiculous, silly, stupid headband. Because I still can't color my hair. Why, Daddy? We are so close.
Two people away from 1,000.
Two of you. Hit, smash, pound that you can do the like button too, but the subscribe button. Help us out. Excuse me. We know many of you have viewed our content, and so come on, 2 of you have to. We're just trying to get to our baby goal of 1,000. So, and I look at this thing at the end of the day. My hair, I'm saying, and Mama don't like it. So come on, hurry up. And we want to thank you guys all that have subscribed. Many of you have subscribed in the last several days to a week. Does not go unnoticed. We really appreciate it. And your comments do not go unnoticed as well. We love all the fun facts and just anything you have to put in there as long as it's nice. We don't want no fighting, no bullying, no being mean, no being an ass face. Respectful, comments. So keep those coming. Excuse me. So, do you have anything else to say before we...
No.
All right, well...
Oh my God, let's hop into it.
All right. You heard
Let's
her.
hop into it.
You heard her. Let's go.
That's the glory of love. That's the story of, that's the glory of.
Isn't it always a fun time when you gotta take your luggage off the carousel and you're like, get out of the way, people! That's
You
mine!
and everybody else, you and everybody and their mom are just standing there.
A biracial couple. So is it gonna be something about this? I'm thinking.
More than likely.
Strange.
One of Hillary's favorites. It's called a kinetic sculpture.
A what?
Look,
Why isn't that so?
Mrs. St. George, I'd like you to meet Dr. Prentice.
Dr. Prentice, I'm so pleased to meet
Oh,
you.
her face dropped.
George,
Oh.
pleasure to see you.
Not happy with this.
Christina's lunching with Mr. Cazalet. If you like, I can ring up.
No, just tell her I'm back with you and that I'll be home.
Has something happened? Is anything wrong?
Something's happened, but everything's right. Well, thanks, Hillary.
Oh, it's gonna be a movie that's gonna aggravate me.
Oh, John, come here, Tilly. Tilly, this is Dr. Prentice. John, Miss Matilda Binks.
Pleased to meet you, Miss Banks. I've certainly heard a great deal about you.
Lovely to see you, Tilly. I missed you.
You still ain't told me why you're home early. You want those bags took upstairs?
No, not my two, Miss Banks. I've not come to stay.
It's personal reasons, Tilly. I'll tell you all about it.
You eat any lunch yet? Or are you expecting it now?
Oh, could you...
Why is she giving him the stink eye too
Have it
now?
out on the terrace.
Come on
okay?
now, stop it.
Oh.
What?
Hey. Who's that?
That's Dorothy. Isn't she a knockout? She helps Tilly during the week.
Which days?
Never mind.
Oh my god.
I have to meet them, don't I? Before I come to Geneva? Or are we going to keep our marriage a secret from them?
Why didn't I think of that? See, that's a thought.
A member of my own race getting above himself.
Then I don't want your opinion, and if I ever do, I'll ask for it. You can't mean what you're saying either, and you're so wrong. You know I've always loved you, and you're just as black as he is. How could it possibly be all right for me to love you and wrong for me to love him? Will you just stop and think about that?
It's true.
Just...
Bernstein, yeah, I can see that. And I'm already feeling happy for you. Do I know him?
No, that's just it. I only met him myself 10 days ago.
Fact is, Dad, I met this girl.
You what? You met a girl? Well, why didn't you say so? Mary, he says you met a girl. Why, that's
I
good.
wanted to meet her folks, you see.
That sounds good, son. I mean, serious.
Yes, it's serious.
So calm and sure of everything. He doesn't have any
I don't know if I could have married a 37-year-old when I was
knows what he
23.
believes and what he thinks is right
Well, you're
At least
more
the
that
guy
age.
was in like
and where he's going.
50.
Oh, Mom, there's one thing I must tell you. He was married before and he had a son, and it was so tragic. Both his wife and his son were killed in a train accident in Belgium 8 years ago. And John, I haven't even told you his name.
John Wade.
Uh-oh.
Joanna Prentice, I'll be. Well, it's about time. I was wondering where you'd been.
Mrs. Drayton, I'm medically qualified, so I hope you wouldn't think it presumptuous if I say you ought to sit down before you fall down, I mean.
He thinks you're gonna faint because he's a Negro.
Well, I don't think I'm going to faint. But I'll sit down anyway.
Well, what did
It's
they
all right.
say when you told them I wasn't a colored girl?
Well, I didn't. It felt like too big a shock for the telephone. After all, an awful lot of people are going to think that we're a very shocking pair. Isn't that right, Mrs. Drayton?
I know what you mean.
Then John was supposed to fly back to Los Angeles on Saturday.
Why is she just giving him this? Why is she being such a bitch?
Your father know that you're back?
Oh, no, I was gonna phone him. Do you think he'd come back early if I...
Oh, he's coming back early, all right. He's playing golf with Monsignor Ryan.
That he thinks that the fact he's a Negro and I'm not creates a serious problem.
Does he?
I told him 97 times that it wouldn't make the slightest bit of difference to you or to Dad.
I think he's a
But he
little
just wouldn't believe
uncomfortable.
me. So that's why we're here.
Do they always honk when they get in the driveway? Maybe to open the gate or something.
Hi, Tilly, how are you? Oh,
hell's done broke loose now.
What's wrong? That waste disposal don't
No,
matter?
it ain't that, but you just remember I stand all hell's done
What's
broke loose.
happened? Where's Christina? I see
She's
her
out in
car.
the terrace with little Joey.
Anything
Oh,
wrong?
of course, there's nothing wrong. I just decided to come home early. Oh, Dr. Prentice and I met in Hawaii, and we flew back in the same plane this morning.
Oh, well. Sit down. Were you practicing in San Francisco? Sit down.
No, sir. I'm just here for one day.
Oh, where is your practice? Hawaii?
No, I'm not established in any one place. I'm in tropical medicines, mostly in Africa these past few years.
Well, fine. See you all later.
Well, at least he was very polite to him.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh. Is it kicking in now? What's going on? Yep.
Oh my God.
What the hell is going on here?
Joanna and I didn't just meet in Hawaii.
Oh,
We spent a
Joanna.
good deal of time together. And we flew back to San Francisco to see if you or Mrs. Straighton would have any objections if we got married.
You nervous? Sit down, Doctor, before you make me nervous.
What objections? Dad, I know this is sort of a shock because it's all so sudden and unexpected. And it never occurred to me that I might fall in love with a Negro. But I did. And nothing in the world is going to change that.
Call the library and see if they've got any dope on a John Wade Prentice. Prentice. He's a doctor of medicine.
He's gonna
From about
investigate
35,
him.
36.
Oh, man.
He's a colored fella. Yeah. If they haven't
Should it
got
matter?
anything,
You really need to say that.
Call up the medical association, see what they've got.
Oh, I don't know. I was shaken at first. I still am, I suppose. But, Matt, they're serious. They mean what they're saying. Both of them. They know what they're doing.
No, they may mean what they're saying. I accept that, but they don't know what they're doing. I won't accept that.
Unless you two approve, and without any reservations at all, there won't be any marriage.
Well, why,
Have a look.
John? Why have you decided that?
And I already have all the problems I need. And I feel that I couldn't afford to get married if it meant that I would have to take on any special problems in addition to those we're obviously going to have.
When you say special problems, Doctor, what do you mean?
If by marrying me she damaged her relationship with either of you, the pain of it would be too much for her. I wouldn't know how to deal with that kind of situation.
He's a good
In any case, I
dude.
wouldn't even want to try.
He's just telling him straight up, like,
Yeah.
hey.
So that's how it's going to be. I'm not going to
You told
ruin,
us this, Doctor.
have her ruin a relationship with them because, yeah.
At least he's honest about it.
Thank God he's right. She's 23 years old, and the way she is just exactly the way we brought her up to be. We did not add, but don't ever fall in love with a
Yeah,
colored man.
exactly.
Graduated magna cum laude, John Hopkins, 54. Assistant professor, Yale Medical School, 55. 3 years professor, London School of Tropical Medicine. 3 years assistant director, World Health
Oh, my.
Organization. 2 textbooks and a list of monographs and medical society honors as long as you're
Smart.
on.
Oh, the delivery boy has a spunk.
How are you today? Having a steak fry, huh? Well, now there she is. How are you today?
Want to give me a lift to Market Street? Save me a cab.
You know it, doll.
I hope these is better than the last we had, hot shot.
Lady, don't look at me. I just deliver it. I don't rustle the cattle.
I said to remind you to open the wine.
Oh, go on, y'all. I don't understand why she's so hateful, though.
Civil rights is one thing. This here is something else.
Your daughter said that there's no problem. She said, my dad is a lifelong fighting liberal who loathes race prejudice and has spent his whole life fighting against discrimination. She said, my parents, well, they'll welcome me with open arms.
I understand that he's scared. I mean, sometimes it's bad now, but it was worse back then when you were biracial.
Just a minute. You haven't asked your mother, and there's Tilly.
Mr. Prentice, won't you come to dinner, you and Mrs. Prentice? John and I'll meet your plane.
Stop.
Who am I talking to? John?
Hi.
Oh, looks
Dad?
like she wants us even if you don't. And we certainly
man.
want to meet her.
I have to explain.
Why do you keep trying to dramatize everything?
She's a little too
I told Peter and Julie
optimistic
that we'll meet them for a drink at 5:30.
She's not
Gives us
thinking
just enough time to get to the airport.
that this is going to be a
She's
little
my
bit of a
best and oldest
shock.
friend, so you've just got to let them meet you.
Guess who's coming to dinner?
The thing is, it doesn't matter what the parents do. And That's how
gonna
you
be a
raise
marriage unless we
them
approve.
to be.
And who is this gentleman?
Monsignor Ryan, this is John Prentice, Dr. John Wade Prentice. We met in Hawaii 11 days ago, and the two of us are going to be married.
Ah, indeed. I take it you mean to each other. Dr. Prentice. I suppose this was all very sudden, was it not?
Yes, it was.
I suppose you two have had time to consider what you're doing.
No, we've not.
2 more because the doctor's father and mother are coming, and we'll be 6.
His father and mother here?
That's right.
Why should I be shocked? I've known a good many cases of marriages between races in my time.
Good on you,
Strangely
Monsignor.
enough, they usually work out quite well. I don't know why. Maybe because it requires some special quality of effort.
Dr. Prentice and I are going to be married, Hillary.
Are you? Well, I didn't even know. I mean, Christina hadn't even mentioned
She didn't
that.
know. It was a surprise to her, too.
I don't think Joey likes her.
Well, I should think it was.
Looks like she wants to punch her in the face.
Hillary, what brings you all the way up here?
Nosy.
Oh, Mr. Cazalet phoned about the number of
that,
pictures
yes.
in the various
Excuse us,
sizes.
will you? Come along, Hillary.
The mom is like, get out of here.
I knew something was up when I came into the gallery, but this...
I want you to go straight back to the gallery. Start your motor. When you get to the gallery, tell Jennifer that she will be looking after things temporarily. She's to give me a ring if there's anything she can't deal with herself. Then go into the office and make out a check for cash for the sum of $5,000. Take the check for $5,000, which I feel you deserve, and get permanently lost. Don't speak, Hillary. Just go.
Get out.
I love
Away.
it. Go on, Mama.
Because they're going to have special difficulties. And if they know what lies in store for them, and they still want each other enough to accept it, I think it's as plain as anything that they love each other very much.
But the feeling that they'll never make it, that the whole thing's impossible.
Oh, you feel that way, do you? You're really thrashing about, then. That's very interesting indeed, and rather amusing, too, to see a broken-down old phony liberal come face to face with his principles. Every bigot trying to get out.
Oh, go to hell.
Call him
Your
out.
father's still preaching, Al.
Work it out, yeah.
He's cute.
Don't let me disturb you.
Not at all.
I hope you don't mind, but I've just wangled an invitation to dinner.
Marvelous. I'm delighted you're coming.
Thank you, my dear. I'm very delighted to have met you.
My
Doctor.
pleasure.
See you this evening.
Certainly.
Guess who's coming to dinner now?
The Reverend Martin Luther King.
You're so close. It's Monsignor Ryan. So bake a second pie, will you? You know how he loves your cooking.
Could we get out of here for a few minutes? Can't we take a ride or something? What are the others doing?
They're meeting Peter and Judith for a drink, and then they're going on to the airport.
Yeah, all right, come on. Well, come on, will you?
Oh, Dad, get a grip, man.
Get the stick from out of your butt.
I brought up that child from a baby in her cradle, and ain't nobody gonna harm her none while I'm here watching. And as long as you are anywhere around this house, I'm right here watching. You read me, boy? You bring any trouble in here, and you just like to find out what black power really means. And furthermore to that, you ain't even all that good looking.
Oh,
my God.
But I'll tell you this. I am not going to try to pretend that I'm happy about the whole thing, because I'm not. That you are not behaving in her best interest.
Mm.
Or maybe the mom is just happy. Like,
Yeah.
who cares, dude? I hate when they use that excuse. I'm just looking out for their well-being.
They're grown.
Like, she's 23.
I guess I should have called you back again because there is this one thing I should have. I've been meaning to write to you about it.
Come on, buddy.
And
Just spit it out.
I'm afraid it's going to be kind of a shock.
There goes the faces.
He looks more confused than...
Yeah.
How wrong, I think you. I believe you're making the worst mistake you've ever made in your... I think you're going to regret it with more bitterness than you've ever known and for as long as you live. I'm surprised it hasn't occurred to you. The doctor will accept whatever you say to him because he's a terribly sensitive man and because he said that he would accept it. But Joey won't.
Well, I never would have believed I'd hear you say a thing like that.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, she also knows that
Can I get you another drink?
No, thanks.
it's going to bring distance.
Well, then you couldn't blame us if we were a little stunned too, could you? I think I could list all my objections in 4 hours. I think I'd need more like 8 hours.
Well, you've only got 4 hours. So you'll just have to talk twice as fast.
That he wouldn't marry Joey unless we could say that we approved the marriage with no reservations whatever. Joey doesn't know that he said that. Their way in from the airport with John's parents, but neither of them knows that Matt has decided, well, Matt has decided that he can't approve.
That's not true. Please tell me it's not true.
Take the...
It's incredible.
He's like, I'm gonna go sort this out myself.
What's gonna happen here?
I don't know, Tilly. I just don't know.
You and Mr. Matt, you gonna put a stop to this damn nonsense foolishness?
Tilly, I don't want to put a stop to anything. He's a fine man. He's a wonderful man.
No, I don't think you're butting into something that doesn't concern you.
Uh-oh.
Damn.
I understand how you feel, Mike.
He's having a rough day,
I understand how
sir.
everybody feels.
He's just chilling.
You know,
like,
you have to understand something, too. They boxed me into a hell of a corner here. Oh, for God's sake. Man, you're on the point of destroying all the happiness that is in one of the happiest families
Chill out,
I've
Matt.
ever known.
You're all worked up about it.
Would you mind getting the hell out of here?
I think I know why you're angry, too. Not with the doctor, whom you obviously respect. Not with Joey or Christina. Not even with me. You're angry with yourself, Matt. All of a sudden, and in a single day, you've been thrown.
What I'll take even from you.
For 30 years, there's been no man I've admired or respected more. You know that, Matt. And for the first time in all those 30 years, I feel sorry for you.
How do you do, Miss Drake? How do you do, Mr. Prentice? I'm so pleased to meet you. Come on in. Let me take your coat and hat. And yours, Mrs. Prentice? How good of you to come all this long way
That's a
to
pretty
see
dress
us.
she has on.
What did Dad say? Did you tell him? I bet he was shaken, wasn't he?
Well, it was a surprise, Joey.
You want to talk to me?
Yes, I'm sure he does, John. Later. Please come in.
Sit down there, Mike. Well, did you have a nice flight from Los Angeles?
Oh, here, I think
yeah. Very nice flight.
Only 40 minutes.
Only 40 minutes from Los Angeles.
Terrifying.
If you're going to talk about flying, you could talk about flying to Geneva.
I don't know about you, Mr. Prentice, but it seems to me that these two are rushing it just a little bit.
Well, it seemed that way to me, too.
It seems like that to you, too, huh?
That's right.
Oh, they're going to bond over this now.
Well, I'm certainly relieved to hear that, Mr. Prentice. I was beginning to think that I was the only one around here who had any
I would
trouble.
like Mrs. Prentice to see the view. I have to ask you, forgive my being so abrupt and so direct. Are you shocked by the fact that John, that your son, is involved with a white girl?
Surprised.
Known, because it came as a complete surprise to us, too, but now I know how they feel about each other. Joey's still very young, Mrs. Prentice, but she's not a child. And they're deeply in love with each other.
If only so that we could adjust to the situation, but the way things are, there just isn't any time. If we're going to accept the thing at all, it seems to me, we'll have to trust the two of them and accept that they know what they're doing.
Dear, what Mr. Drayton is saying to my father?
Well, I can tell you one thing, Doctor. I was very sorry to hear that you intend to withdraw from the situation if you encounter any opposition.
Okay.
You just gave him a hint.
Well, what you're saying is that you feel practically the same as I do about this.
That's right. But even so, Mr. Prentice, you know, this is a hell of an unhappy situation for both your son and my daughter.
I said that if they didn't approve, there'd be no marriage. Yeah, I set the terms, Mama.
They don't disapprove. Only Mr. Drayton.
Are you sure?
She said she'd even drive the two of you to the airport.
You know what it's been like for me these past 8 years. I felt like I never wanted anybody again. But, Mama, these last few days with her, it's like I'm alive again.
Difficult problem. For whom?
Right?
You and my husband? I think you'll solve your problem, all right? All you have to do is tell them you're against them. That's all. And you'll have no problem.
Can you imagine for 1 minute that I want to see either one of them hurt?
No. No more than my husband does.
And say they changed the law. That don't change the way people feel about this.
Oh, I forget that. Forget
You know,
that
for
was
a man
illegal,
who
right?
all his
To be
life never put a wrong
married
foot
by
anywhere,
Rachel.
you're way out of line, boy.
That's me to decide, man. So just shut up and let me...
You don't say that to me. I tell you, there were things your mother should have had that she insisted go instead for you. And I don't mean fancy things. I mean a decent coat. A lousy coat. And you're gonna tell me now that means nothing to you and you could break your mother's heart?
It's not breaking her heart.
You might as well be blind men. You can only see that they have a problem. But do you really know what's happened to them? How they feel about each other? If you ever felt what my son feels for your daughter, you've forgotten everything about it. My husband, too. And
She makes a lot of sense.
you don't even remember. If you did, how could you do what you were doing?
Yeah. Speak it. Speak the truth.
Let me tell you something. I owe you nothing. If you carried that bag 1,000,000 miles, you did what you were supposed to do.
It's true.
You brought me into this world.
Mm-hmm.
From that day,
We've talked about
you
that before.
owe me everything you could ever do for me, like I will owe my son if I ever have another. But you don't own me. You don't know how I feel, what I think. And if I try to explain it the rest of your life, you will never understand. You are 30 years older than I am. You and your whole lousy generation believes the way it was for you is the way it's got to be. And not until your whole generation has lain down and died will the dead weight of you be off our backs. Dad. You're my father. I'm your son. I love you. I always have, and I always will. But you think of yourself as a colored man. I think of myself
As a man.
as a man.
Good on them for speaking the truth.
Yeah.
Mike is just sitting there.
You've just got to talk John's parents into flying over with you. It would mean so much to John to have them there, and I know that they can afford it. You know, I think John's father's going to make it a bit rough for him. Did you see his expression when he walked off to have a talk with Dad? But isn't she lovely? Don't you like her already?
Yes, darling, I do. She's a good one.
And in time, you just come to know the person. Yes, you see the color, but you know the person.
It's just this shade of their skin.
Yeah. I guess I've never been that racist person, so I don't really give two shits. What?
I thought you were gonna say I've just never been that racist. I was like, what?
No, I've never been a
I was
racist
like, what?
person, so I don't care.
Mary, you've just got to understand it.
Please, John. The Monsignor is right. Please, say no more.
Just be quiet, sir.
You're not letting shit slide, as one says.
Yeah.
You didn't have the guts to tell me face to face, did you?
Now, before you start telling me how much guts I've got, I told you I'd have something to say. Now I'm ready to say it. Are you going to stay in here? This has been a very strange day. I don't think that's putting it too strongly. I might even say it's been an extraordinary day. I've been out there thinking about the day and the way it has gone. And it seems to me that now I need to make a few personal statements. Now, Mr. and Mrs. Prentice, this is Miss Matilda Biggs. who's been a member of this family for 22 years, and who today has been making a great deal of trouble. Sit down, Tilly.
Yeah, she kind of has.
While I was still being flabbergasted, I was informed by my daughter that the marriage was on, no matter what her mother and I might feel about it. When you walked in and said that unless we, her mother and I, approved of the marriage, there would be no marriage.
You didn't. What a funny thing to do.
Shut up. Not as yet referred to his reverence, who began by forcing his way into the situation and then insulting my intelligence by mouthing 300 platitudes and ending just a half hour ago by coming to my room and challenging me to a wrestling match. And Mrs. Prentice says that, like her husband, I'm a burnt-out old shell of a man who cannot even remember what it's like to love a woman the way her son loves my daughter. Because I think you're wrong. You're as wrong as you can be. I admit that I hadn't considered it, hadn't even thought about it. But I know exactly how he feels about her. And there is nothing, absolutely nothing, that your son feels for my daughter that I didn't feel for Christina. Because in the final analysis, it doesn't matter a damn what we think. The only thing that matters is what they feel and how much they feel for each other. And if it's half of what we felt, that's everything.
Oh, Dad.
As for you two and the problems you're going to have, they seem almost unimaginable. But you'll have no problem with me.
Oh.
There'll be 100 million people right here in this country who will be shocked and offended and appalled at the two of you. And say, screw all those people. But you're two wonderful people who happen to fall in love and happen to have a pigmentation problem. There would be only one thing worse, and that would be if, knowing what you two are, knowing what you two have, and knowing what you two feel, you didn't get married.
Oh, Dad.
Well, Tilly, when the hell are we going to get some dinner?
That's the story of. Okay, well.
Wow. Wow. I'm going to rate this right off the bat. 2 thumbs.
2 toes.
2 toes, you got it. Well, you show yours. You didn't show yours yet. Are you also 2 toes?
I'm not showing my toes, but they're up.
But they're up. This movie was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I... Okay.
Didn't like you talking.
The microphone did not want me to shut up. I didn't talk a lot throughout this movie.
I was very intrigued on the way things were going to unfold.
And this is so relevant still today, I feel like. Mm-hmm. Maybe not as much as it was in the 60s, like the biracial.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as I think it's still a little bit relevant. I mean, I had to deal with that back when I was dating her dad because we were a biracial couple. He was Hispanic and I'm white.
I mean, Hispanic's not really race. He was just so very dark.
Well, still don't they say it's biracial?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because he wasn't white, but I'm saying it's an ethnicity.
Ethnicity. Yeah, I didn't say race.
You said biracial because he's Hispanic. That's not a race, it's not a thing.
Well, we were a biracial couple.
I know, I'm saying because he wasn't white, I'm saying Hispanic is not.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yes. But he was a very dark.
Complected dude.
Complected. So I don't know why I'm clapping like a weirdo. So he would get things said to him. I remember it happened in a restaurant. Like they tried to say it loud enough, but not loud enough. I mean, not super loud, but loud enough for us to hear. And looks and this and that and so. Yeah.
No. No, stop.
And this was in
Stop it. Stop.
like the late-ish...
Stop. Kiki, no. So is it...
Late 90s. Late 90s.
Stop. Sorry.
Just push him down.
Taking this. I'm gonna act a fool.
Oh, in the late 90s. And it was just crazy because people are people. As long as they're just like good people and like the people are they're in love.
I mean, legal, but like...
Yes, in that kind of way, the legal way. But, you know, and he had a point when he was telling his dad something to the effect of, because your age group basically is stuck in how they were brought up or how they were raised, like they're not able to adapt. It's kind of what he was saying, right? To how things change. I think that's what he was trying to. It was something like that, right? I can't quote him exactly. And it's even true to it's even true now because some generations can adapt to, for example, we'll just say like LGBTQ. They can accept, because it's like that's not how we were raised, you know, for people to be so like just out there. What, like, it's true.
That's an excuse.
Yeah, I mean, and when I was growing up, I was never taught to be a racist. I never taught her. I just grew up just accepting everyone, and as long as they were a good person. I mean, if they were an asshole, it just didn't matter what color their skin was. It was an asshole. But just, you know, accepting everyone, like, who gives two flips? Everybody's just people, you know? I know, I'm just going on a tangent, but it's just, so, but yeah, I was just, the mom, I thought I thought the dad was going to warm up and the mom was going to be problematic. And then it just kind of flipped. But I'm wondering what she was going to tell her before they got interrupted at the end.
I think she was going to tell her about what he said.
About what the dad said?
No, but how the dad felt, but how he was like, oh, well, I won't marry you if you don't approve.
If you don't approve. I was hoping she wasn't going to say, like, I'm not all for this. You know, I think
she was just more scared because the dad was like, no.
Right. And then the two moms, like, bonded over that. And then what John's mom said to Matt hit him a lot. You know? It's just, everyone's just a person. Just freaking treat people equally. Yes, you're going to see skin color. You're just obviously, but it
shouldn't matter.
It shouldn't matter, and you look past that. You look past that because everyone is a person. Just treat people like a person.
Like shitty person is a shitty person.
Yeah,
right?
It doesn't matter.
But it's like, you shouldn't treat someone shitty just because they're a little darker than you.
Yeah. Oh, there's a shitload of shitty white people in this world. You know what I'm saying?
I don't understand it. Huh?
So it's just like white people shouldn't be like, oh, because there's a lot of shittiest of us. A lot. So just, you know, I can't stand the racism thing.
I don't understand. It's like really.
I don't get it. I don't understand it. It's just, you know, but and the funny thing is, the dad, like the priest was telling him, like,
no.
He was kind of mocking him because you're like, oh, you're this liberal and you stand up for like.
Kati, stop! She's eating the cord.
Katita. And like you stand up for people that kind of don't have a voice, and you're always like, but when it comes to this,
a phony is what you call them.
Yeah. I love the priest so much.
Sorry.
The priest was a hoot and a holler.
Stop!
Katita! She knows when I yell at her, she's in trouble. The priest was funny.
Mike.
Yeah. So this was just I'm just going to go ahead.
I like how the setting also just like placed in one like area.
Yes. And funny how Tilly was just so.
I think she was just so protective over what's her face.
That maybe she was going to get hurt or whatnot.
Because that's what she kind of said when she barged into the room.
Oh, I know. She just went off like.
And he was just trying to get dressed.
But she was like pissed off from the get-go.
I think that's why.
Or maybe trying to protect because she knew how the parents. I don't know. It still is, and I'm not get like. It just floors me that white, like, well, we're not going to get into the whole slavery thing, right? But how white people would have a black maid, but yet they're against this.
Or they'll be like, oh, they're our family, but then they don't want somebody who's like black marrying their kid.
Yeah. And it was funny at the beginning, she never did resurface, but the other housekeeper, when the delivery boy came with the meat and they were just like dancing up out of there like they didn't care. That's the way it should be. Like, you just, get along with people. Like, who cares, right?
In the end, we're all gonna die anyway, so like,
and
what's
that's
the
what
point?
Basically, isn't that what
she was like, you're old and you don't remember how it was to be like in love.
Yeah.
Basically.
Well, like that, but then John also said to his dad, like,
oh, when you're gone, it's gonna like...
That's when it'll sort of, when your generation is gone, it's gonna, things will sort of change because we won't be just stuck in something to that effect, right? Yeah. But it had a lot of humor in it. A lot of humor. It's the first movie, I mean, obviously I know who Katharine Hepburn is, but it's the first movie I've seen with her.
This is first Sidney Poitier.
Yeah, the first one with him too. But we had Katharine Hepburn movie on our monthly poll, and it was lost. So maybe we'll, watch that one. But yeah,
acting was really good in this movie.
Oh, because they were all like Spencer Tracy. I gotta search him up at the end because I saw it come at the beginning credits, but then the whole time I was kind of thinking that. Was that him? That was
I kind of figured that was him because
the main player. Like they were all just like fabulous. Of course, I mean they're I don't know. It's the first movie we've seen with Spencer Tracy also, so I don't know what other kind of movies he does. But I would be up for watching some more of him. He was a good actor.
None of the scenes went on for too long.
Oh no! I was trying to see what minutes we're at. We just ran. Okay. It flowed.
Yeah, I didn't feel like anything was just empty space.
Anything else you want to say on this one?
That's it. I'm good.
I mean, if there's other movies with Katharine Hepburn or Spencer Tracy or Sidney Poitier that we should be watching, hit them up in the comments because, yeah. And I don't know who the girl was. I have to search her back up again too.
Well, it said like something introducing, but I...
Oh, so it might have been one of her...
First,
but she did really good. I mean, she was like, her character was very like energetic and upbeat and happy, but she did real good. Oh, and then Isabel Sanford, I think that's her last name. Yeah, she played in The Jeffersons. She was the wife of. I know you've never seen it. Oh, I wonder if that scene with the ties just was an oopsie and they left it in.
Probably because they just went on like
they did because. When nothing was going his way, his sock was ripped, his drawer wouldn't go back, and then when he got the tie, I thought he was going to go, oh, but they just, like, I'm watching them, but they focused in, which was funny. I just watched them slowly come off the tie rack. I was just focused on watching them drop. But a lot of humor.
Yeah.
Mixed in there, too, which made it for a good time. Is it.
It's a wrap.
There you go.
It's a wrap.
She said.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
Be kind to always.
Subscribe. We're 2 away. It's a wrap.